What's up, fellas? My name is Tucker. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the NBA G League as a path for players to make it into the NBA. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like rating on it. Consider subscribing for more just like it. Check out my socials up there, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so this whole choosing an option other than college to get to the NBA thing has been a thing for a while, even before the NBA created this G League team specifically tailored towards getting elite prospects to the NBA and giving them another avenue outside of college. People have been trying to find a way to essentially bring down the NCAA, whether it be players going overseas, whether it be the NBA bringing back the prep to pro route where guys can go straight from high school to the NBA, which personally I think is a really good option, by the way. People don't like the NCAA. They don't like what they view as exploitation at times of young athletes, and they want guys to have other options. And typically that's a good thing, to have a couple of different ways in which you can do something, in this case being getting to the NBA. But I think this G League thing that they've created is by far the better option over college in specific scenarios. And like I said, this is not new to have, other avenues. I think people really got behind the overseas thing for a little bit. The returns on that haven't been fantastic. Maybe the high school thing will come back. But here's why I think the G League option is a really, really great one. Okay, so I'm just going to get right to the meat of it here. The biggest point for me is pro readiness. And I know it's early to kind of harp on this point with, guys like Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, the G League guys that have shown up now because we've only watched them in Summer League and things like that. But if you're making a case for, I'm an elite prospect, I'm an NBA level player, how can I become as good of a player as I can in my 1 year that the NBA forces me to take between high school and actually getting to the NBA? How can I become the best player I can be? How can I develop my skills in the best way? How can I gear everything towards becoming a really good NBA player and raising my draft stock? I don't think it's even remotely a comparison between the traditional college process and what the NBA has created for the G League. I think some people view this G League option as like an all-star team up for a couple of really elite high school prospects, and that's not what it is. And I think that's why you're seeing it as such an important part of the decision-making process for a lot of these elite prospects. The NBA created this G League team with the intent of creating an opportunity for elite prospects to be really good NBA players. They understand the value of capitalizing on as much elite basketball talent as possible for the NBA, and they don't want college to potentially ruin any of that for like the Ben Simmons types that go to LSU and just kind of don't do anything, right? I mean, he goes to school for half a year. The team doesn't do as well as he wants to, and he just goes through the motions, and he's still the first pick in the draft, but that's a critical piece of his development that was potentially lost out on, and I think that was a lot of the instigation behind them creating this G League team. And these guys show up, and they're around NBA players, former NBA players, whether it be coaching staff or the actual players on the roster. The skill development standpoint is a big selling point. They're playing in actual games against, you can talk about the G League if you want to, but the level of competition at the G League level in comparison to the college level is just better. These are grown men. These are guys that are trying to make the NBA. These are guys that some of them have been in the NBA or trying to make it back. They're just better players. It's a more physical game, and it's a better way to prepare you for the NBA than for college. Now, this, for me personally, is only an avenue, of course, for elite prospects. It's not going to be something for everybody, but if you are the 1, 2, 3, whatever prospect in your high school class, and your goal is, I want to get to the NBA, I don't think there's a better way to prepare you for that than for the G League. You're not running the Jayhawk pin down series at Kansas and trying to win a conference championship, which ultimately holds no bearing on your future as an NBA player. And if this is a 1 year thing for you, as it is for almost every single player that comes to college as a 1, 2, 3 prospect, that year of development isn't really doing anything for you. Yes, like I'm not trying to say you're not learning skills, and I'm not trying to downplay what happens for these players in college, but specifically with NBA translatable skills, it's not even close of a comparison between what you're learning at the G League and what you're learning at the college level. And I think you're already starting to see that with guys like Jalen Green, with guys like Kuminga. When they show up, they're ready. Like, these guys have pro level moves. Their shots look better. They've clearly improved in the year between high school and them getting to the NBA. And I don't think that that's an accident. If it was me and my only goal was, I want to get to the NBA. I'm going to be the best NBA player I can. I don't care about going to class. I don't care about conference championships. I am laser focused on the NBA. If that's my situation and I'm the top high school prospect in the country in my draft class, I want to go be around guys that know what it's like to be in the NBA. I want to go be around NBA coaching. I want to go work on my own individual skills, and I want to try and perform those individual skills in as close to an NBA environment as I can get to without actually getting to the NBA, because they don't allow me to, and I have to take this year in between high school and the pros. The pro readiness thing is by far the biggest selling point for me personally for the G League. Now, the next point that a lot of people bring up as a counterpoint to the G League is money, which up until a month and a half ago, a couple months ago, there was no comparison. You know, you would get your college education. There was no other way for big time players to be compensated. And now, you know, a lot of people's counter arguments to this G League thing is, well, the players have the opportunity to make money off their name, image, and likeness. Thank goodness. That was always what I thought was the best path towards not fixing, but having some kind of a solution to the compensation for college players, big-time college players that are providing significantly more value to their university than the college tuition and room and board and all these things that they were getting initially. Like the starting quarterback of Ohio State is worth way more to Ohio State than what they're actually being compensated, so the NIL now allows them to make that up. And so even if, as is probably the case a lot of times, in that 1 year, you can make more at college than you could in the G League. Let's just say that's the case, right? If it's me, I'm the best high school player in the country, and I can choose to go to Kansas or the G League, and I can make more money at Kansas than I can in the G League. Even if that's the case, I don't think that turns the tide from a money standpoint because of everything we talked about in the first section. I don't care about making marginally more money in that 1 year at college from a marketability standpoint than, you know, compared to what I can make in the G League if I'm a better NBA player when I get there and I potentially get drafted higher than I would if I just went to Kansas, or if I'm better prepared to be better initially and then I'm really good earlier than I would have been if I went to college, and that leads to a bigger second contract. I think the real big money thing here is my NBA contract, not what I make in 1 year at the NIL with the NIL rules in college. And it's not like you're making nothing in the G League. These guys are very well compensated. And I would rather be more pro ready and I guess in some cases make slightly less money at the G League than go to college, make a little bit more money and compete for conference titles when I could be preparing myself to be a really good NBA player. Now, with these first two sections, I understand that this is a selfish mindset, but I think that's okay in this scenario. When you're trying to be a really good NBA player, I think you have to pick the best possible option, even if it doesn't work out super well for the University of Kansas or whatever. I mean, these colleges have been taking a selfish mindset for years, and I think it's okay for the players to do that in this scenario. Now, last up is this whole like college experience thing that people bring up, right? And it's like, well, you know, you could go to college and it's a great growth opportunity. One, I think it's a little bit overstated in this scenario. I don't really think that it creates that much better of an opportunity than what the G League does. And obviously this is really critical only for the elite prospects in each high school class, right? Like if you're the 98th best player in your high school class, yeah, go to college, do the typical thing. But for elite prospects, I don't think it's even close. And I think that there's plenty of opportunity for them to, experience things in a similar way than what you do, at college as a G League player. And so, yeah, this path only means something to a couple of guys every year. You're Ben Simmons types. Again, I think that situation is one you can really look at and draw from and say, why was Ben Simmons ever in college? Why did he ever have to go to LSU? He barely wanted to be there in the first place. He completely mailed it in, and he still was the first pick in the draft. But it just this G League avenue would have been perfect for what Ben Simmons wanted to accomplish. And it's better than just taking a year off and working out because you're getting that exposure in that NBA environment. And I just think that this is such a better path for these guys. Now, one last point I will make. I'm talking specifically about the G League and what the NBA has created with the G League. I'm not referring to the overseas route, which again, I think there's mixed results, or this overtime elite thing, which I'm not even positive is financially viable. I don't understand how these kids are getting paid as much as they are with the structure of that. I don't even want to speak on that too much in this video because the more I've looked into it, the more I am confused about what exactly they're trying to do. So this is specifically with the G League. And I really don't know how anybody could look at this situation objectively as a big time elite basketball prospect and think, that if you don't care about school, granted, there's still plenty of value, obviously, in going to school if you want to be there 4 years or 1 year and you want to come back, and the connections you can possibly make there, of course, that is valuable. But I'm talking specifically about how can I be the best NBA player I can be. I don't think the comparison between the G League program that the NBA has created, which is genius, by the way, and college, I don't think there's a comparison. I don't think it's even remotely close. And yeah, that is going to be the end of today's video, and I thank you guys very much for watching. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you enjoyed it, leave a like rating on it. Check out my socials up there. And yeah, I'll catch y'all next time. Peace, fellas.